Niccolò Machiavelli died in 1527, but if he walked into your office, your social circle, or your relationship tomorrow, he would dominate within days. Not because he was smarter than everyone else, but because he understood one thing that most people refuse to accept. The world runs on power, not fairness. You've been taught to believe that hard work, honesty, and good intentions will lead to success. Machiavelli would call this dangerous naivety. He watched rulers who believed this lose everything: their kingdoms, their wealth, their lives. Meanwhile, the cunning, the strategic, the ones who understood the real rules, they thrived. The truth is uncomfortable. We live in a Machiavellian world whether you acknowledge it or not. Your coworker who takes credit for your work? Machiavellian. Your friend who plays both sides in conflicts? Machiavellian. The person who smiles while undermining you? Machiavellian. They're playing the game. And if you don't know the rules, you're not a player. You're a piece being moved. In this video, I'm going to reveal Machiavelli's 21 Rules of Power, translated for the modern world. Not Renaissance Italy, not political intrigue in Florence. Your job, your relationships, your social dynamics. These are the rules that govern human behavior whether you like it or not. You can reject them morally. You can hate that they work. But you cannot deny that they do. This isn't about becoming evil. It's about seeing reality clearly. And once you see it, you'll never be blindsided again. Let's begin. Machiavelli wrote The Prince in 1513 while in exile, after being tortured for alleged conspiracy. He had spent 14 years as a diplomat in Florence, watching power games up close. He saw generous rulers betrayed, moral leaders destroyed, kind princes overthrown. Then he saw Cesare Borgia, a man who everyone called cruel, manipulative, and ruthless, create stability where chaos had reigned. Borgia didn't play by the rules everyone claimed to follow. He played by the rules that actually worked. And Machiavelli paid attention. The Prince wasn't a book about how power should work. It was a book about how power actually works. And 500 years later, every single rule still applies. The names change. The technology changes. But human nature, identical. The rules you're about to learn aren't Machiavelli's opinions. They're his observations of patterns that repeated throughout history. Patterns that are repeating right now in your life, whether you recognize them or not. These 21 rules are the operating system of power. Learn them, and suddenly everything makes sense. Ignore them, and you'll keep wondering why good people finish last while manipulators win. Before we dive into the 21 rules, if you want to understand power dynamics that most people never learn, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. I break down Machiavellian strategy, power psychology, and the real rules of human behavior every week. And leave a comment telling me, which rule do you see playing out most in your workplace or social life? I want to know which of these patterns you're witnessing. Your observations help the entire community learn. Now, let's reveal Machiavelli's 21 Rules of Power for the modern world. Rule 1. Never outshine the master. Machiavelli observed that talented subordinates who made their superiors look mediocre were quickly eliminated. Not because they failed, because they succeeded too visibly. Your boss, your mentor, anyone above you in a hierarchy, they need to feel superior to you in some way. If you threaten that, you threaten your position. Modern application. You got promoted over your manager's favorite. Don't celebrate publicly. Don't make your boss look bad in meetings even when you're right. Make your successes reflect well on them. Frame your wins as implementing their vision. This isn't weakness, it's strategic survival. Cesare Borgia never made his subordinates feel inferior. He made them feel elevated by serving him. That's why they stayed loyal. When your boss takes credit for your idea, Machiavelli would say, "Good. Now they're invested in your success because it's theirs too." Rule 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Friends know your weaknesses. They know what bothers you, what you fear, what you value. This makes them the perfect betrayers when circumstances change. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are more ready to repay an injury than a benefit, because gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure." Modern application. Your college friend becomes your co-worker. Suddenly, there's competition for one promotion. They know exactly how to undermine you because they know your insecurities. The friendship doesn't protect you, it makes you more vulnerable. Machiavelli's advice: hire the competent stranger over the loyal friend. The stranger has no history to exploit. Keep some distance even in close relationships. Share strategically, not completely. This isn't cynicism. It's recognizing that circumstances change people, and the person who knows you best can hurt you most. Rule 3. Conceal your intentions. People can't oppose what they don't see coming. Machiavelli watched rulers telegraph their moves and get countered at every turn. The successful ones. Their actions surprised everyone, including their allies. Modern application. You're planning to leave your job. Don't tell anyone until you have the offer signed. Your manager will immediately start marginalizing you. Your coworkers will stop including you in projects. You become a lame duck before you've even left. Or you're pursuing someone romantically. Don't make your interest obvious too early. Once they know you're interested, the power dynamic shifts. They become the selector. You become the applicant. Keep your intentions unclear until you've built enough value that revealing them works in your favor. Machiavelli. A prince must be a fox to recognize traps. Foxes move in shadows. They observe. They wait. They strike when the moment is right, not when it's fair or expected. Rule 4. Always say less than necessary. Every word beyond what's needed is a potential weapon someone else can use against you. The more you talk, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the more predictable you become. Machiavelli noted that powerful people speak sparingly and listen extensively. Modern application. In negotiations, whoever talks more loses. Your salary negotiating. They offer $80K. You say, "I was hoping for more, maybe around $90K, but I understand budgets are tight and I'm flexible and really, I just want to be fair." You just negotiated yourself down. They now know $85K will satisfy you. Instead, "I was expecting $95K based on market rate for this role." Stop. Let the silence do the work. They'll counter. You'll consider. But you haven't given them anything to work with except your number. Marcus Aurelius journaled privately but spoke publicly with extreme economy. His Senate speeches were notoriously brief. This made every word carry more weight. When he did speak, people listened because they knew he chose his words carefully. Rule 5. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. Machiavelli saw that reputation could open doors faster than actual ability. A reputation for competence makes people want to work with you. A reputation for ruthlessness makes people afraid to cross you. A reputation for fairness makes people trust you. Reality matters less than perception. Modern application. You make one decisive move at work, shutting down a bad project quickly. People talk about it. Now you have a reputation as someone who makes tough calls. Suddenly, you're invited to more strategic meetings. Not because you're more competent than before, because your reputation changed. Guard your reputation jealously. One scandal can undo years of building. Machiavelli watched politicians destroyed overnight by attacks on their character, even when the attacks were lies. Once reputation is damaged, reality doesn't matter. The perception sticks. Build reputation deliberately. If you want to be seen as decisive, make visible decisions. If you want to be seen as strategic, occasionally reference long-term thinking in meetings. Plant the seeds. Let others spread the narrative. Rule 6. Create compelling spectacle. People are drawn to what's dramatic, visual, and emotionally engaging. Machiavelli observed rulers who did good work quietly and got no credit. Meanwhile, rulers who did mediocre work loudly got praised. Humans remember the spectacular, not the substantial. Modern application: you solved a major technical problem that saved your company $100K. You send a simple email, issue resolved. Nobody notices. Your coworker fixes a minor problem but creates a presentation with charts, testimonials from affected departments, and presents it in a meeting. They get the promotion. Machiavelli: men judge by appearances. So control the appearance. When you accomplish something, frame it dramatically. We were facing a critical failure that could have cost us 6 figures and damaged client relationships. Here's how we prevented disaster. Same accomplishment, different framing. Cesare Borgia once had a man executed in a town square, cut in half, with his body displayed. Extreme, yes, but it sent a message that traveled to every corner of his territory. One spectacular act did the work of 1,000 quiet threats. Rule 7. Let others do the work, you take the credit. This sounds immoral. It is. But Machiavelli didn't care about morality. He cared about effectiveness. He watched leaders who did all the work themselves burn out while contributing less than leaders who delegated and orchestrated. Modern application: you're managing a team. You could do the technical work yourself. You're probably better at it than your team. But if you do, you're just an expensive individual contributor. Instead, you guide the strategy, remove obstacles, take responsibility for outcomes, and present the results. The team does the work. You get the promotion. This doesn't mean exploitation. It means understanding that leadership is orchestration, not execution. Machiavelli watched Cesare Borgia use generals, diplomats, and administrators, each doing what they did best, while Borgia made the strategic decisions and took responsibility for outcomes. The uncomfortable truth: nobody remembers who did the work. They remember who was responsible for the outcome. Presidents get credit for economic booms they didn't create. CEOs get credit for products they didn't build. This is how power works. Rule 8. Make people come to you. When you chase, you position yourself as the one with less power. When they come to you, you're the authority. Machiavelli noted that rulers who pursued alliances appeared desperate. Rulers who were pursued appeared valuable. Modern application: you want a job at a specific company. You could apply, follow up, send multiple emails showing your desperation, or you could build a visible reputation in your field, get mentioned in industry publications, speak at conferences, make them notice you. When they reach out, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. In dating, stop pursuing someone who's lukewarm about you. Redirect your energy to becoming more interesting, more accomplished, more magnetic. Paradoxically, pulling back often makes them pursue you. Why? Because you've stopped confirming their superiority. You've become a question mark again. Machiavelli: the one who needs the alliance less controls the terms. Make yourself needed. Make yourself scarce. Make them come to you. Rule 9. Win through actions, not argument. Arguments change nothing. You've noticed this. Nobody ever says, "You're right, I was completely wrong," in a debate. They double down. Machiavelli watched politicians waste years in rhetoric while rulers who simply acted shaped reality. Modern application: your team is debating whether a new process will work. You could argue for hours about theory, or you could say, "Let me test it with one client this week and show you the results." You run the test, it works. Suddenly, everyone agrees, not because you won the argument, but because you demonstrated reality. Machiavelli observed that Cesare Borgia rarely debated strategy with his advisors. He would listen to input, then act. Results spoke louder than any argument could. When his military campaign succeeded, his previous critics became supporters. Stop trying to convince people with words. Show them with results. Actions create facts. Facts end arguments. Rule 10. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky misery is contagious. Failure is contagious. Machiavelli observed that unlucky people bring their bad fortune to everyone around them, not through mysticism, but through patterns of poor judgment that repeat. Modern application. Your friend constantly complains about their job, their relationships, their life, but never changes anything. You spend time with them. Notice what happens. You start complaining more. Their negativity becomes your lens. Their stagnation becomes normalized. This isn't about abandoning people in crisis, it's about recognizing patterns. Someone having a hard time versus someone who is hardship. The first is circumstantial. The second is characterological. Machiavelli. Associate with the successful, the driven, the solving their problems crowd. Their patterns will influence you more than any book or course. You become the average of who you spend time with. Choose that average wisely. Rule 11. Learn to keep people dependent. Independence is threatening to those in power. Dependency is securing. Machiavelli watched rulers who made everyone around them too self-sufficient, and then got overthrown when those people didn't need them anymore. Modern application. You're indispensable at work because you're the only one who understands a critical system. Document everything and train others, and suddenly you're replaceable. Keep some knowledge exclusive. Make yourself the bottleneck for certain decisions. This isn't sabotage, it's job security. In relationships, if your partner could function just as well without you, why would they stay through difficulties? This doesn't mean creating toxic dependency. It means being a source of value they can't easily replace. Unique insights, specific support, irreplaceable presence. Machiavelli. The prince who makes others powerful ruins himself. Make people dependent on your specific value, not replaceable functions. Rule 12. Use selective honesty to disarm. One truth makes 100 lies believable. Machiavelli observed that the most effective deceivers weren't constant liars. They were selectively honest, which made their important lies unquestioned. Modern application. You're in a negotiation. You openly admit a small weakness in your position. Our timeline is tight, I'll be honest about that. This admission makes you seem honest. Now, when you claim, this is our final offer, it's not. They believe you because you've already been honest once. This works in reverse too. Recognize when someone is using selective honesty on you. They admit something small and true to make you lower your guard before the real manipulation. Machiavelli himself did this in The Prince. He openly admits that some of his advice is morally questionable. This honesty about smaller points makes readers trust his larger strategic framework. Rule 13. When asking for help, appeal to self-interest. People don't help you because they care. They help because they see benefit. Machiavelli watched rulers beg for aid based on morality, past friendship, or fairness, and get nothing. Meanwhile, rulers who showed how helping them benefited the other party got everything. Modern application. Do not ask your boss for a promotion because you need more money or you've worked hard. Ask for a promotion because here's how taking on this expanded role will solve their current problem of X. You've just turned your request into their solution. In relationships, don't ask for support by guilting, "We're family, you should help me." Ask by showing mutual benefit. "If you help me with this, here's how it also positions you better for..." Machiavelli. Never appeal to anyone's better nature. Appeal to their advantage. Everyone has self-interest. The successful know how to frame their requests as serving that interest. Rule 14. Pose as a friend. Work as a spy. Information is power. Machiavelli observed that rulers who knew their rivals' plans dominated those who didn't. The best information came from appearing friendly while staying observant. Modern application: you're in a competitive workplace. Your rival for a promotion constantly talks to you in a friendly way, asks about your projects, your strategies. You freely share. Mistake: they're gathering intelligence to outmaneuver you. Do the reverse, be friendly, be approachable. Ask questions, listen carefully. People reveal their plans, their fears, their weaknesses in casual conversation. Store that information, use it when it matters. This doesn't mean betray confidences or be unethical. It means recognize that in competitive environments, every conversation is data collection. Machiavelli trained as a diplomat. His job was to gather intelligence while appearing friendly. That's how diplomacy works. Rule 15. Crush your enemy. Totally half measures create vengeful survivors. Machiavelli saw rulers show mercy to defeated enemies, who then regrouped and struck back. Meanwhile, rulers who completely neutralized threats only had to fight once. Modern application: you expose someone at work for unethical behavior. HR gives them a warning. You think it's over. It's not. Now they hate you and they're still in position to sabotage you. You should have pushed for termination or gotten them completely removed from your sphere. This sounds harsh. But partial victories in conflicts often create worse problems than the original conflict. If you're going to confront someone, go all the way. If you're not willing to go all the way, don't start the fight. Machiavelli. Men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, but of more serious ones they cannot. Don't wound enemies. Remove them or avoid conflict entirely. Rule 16. Use absence to increase value. Constant availability breeds contempt. Scarcity creates value. Machiavelli noted that rulers who were always accessible became taken for granted, while rulers who created distance became more respected. Modern application: you respond to every email instantly. You're always available for meetings. You always say yes to requests. People start assuming you have nothing better to do. Your time appears worthless. Now you ask for something. They make you wait because clearly you're not that busy. Create strategic unavailability. Don't respond immediately. Block off your calendar. Say no occasionally. Suddenly, people value your time more because it's scarce. In relationships, constant availability killed the mystery. The person who's always there becomes furniture. The person who has their own life, their own priorities, they remain interesting. Machiavelli. The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. Rule 17. Keep others in suspense. Predictability is weakness. When people know what you'll do, they control you. Machiavelli observed that unpredictable rulers kept everyone off balance, making opposition difficult to organize. Modern application: your team knows you always approve certain types of requests and always deny others. They stop bringing you the ones you'll deny, and they assume approval on the others. You've lost control through predictability. Instead, occasionally deny something you usually approve. Occasionally approve something unusual. Keep them uncertain. Now, every request gets their full effort because they can't predict the outcome. In negotiations, never let them pin down your pattern. Sometimes you compromise quickly. Sometimes you hold firm on small points. Sometimes you walk away from good deals. Unpredictability is leverage. Machiavelli himself was unpredictable in his diplomatic career. Sometimes harsh, sometimes conciliatory, always keeping foreign powers uncertain about Florence's next move. Rule 18. Do not build fortresses in people's hearts. This is Machiavelli's nuanced rule. Physical fortresses, isolation, security measures, paranoid control, suggest weakness and attract attack. Better to be secure through respect and necessity than through barriers. Modern application: the micromanager who trusts no one, controls everything, isolates themselves in paranoia, they're building a fortress, and everyone is looking for ways to undermine it. They've made themselves a target through their defensive posture. Better, build loyalty through being necessary, through strategic relationships, through making people genuinely want you to succeed because your success serves them. This is a stronger defense than any control system. Machiavelli observed that Cesare Borgia's real security was not his military. It was that he'd made himself indispensable to so many different factions that no single faction could afford to remove him without chaos. Modern parallel. Don't be the boss everyone fears. Be the boss everyone needs. Fear creates secret enemies. Necessity creates reluctant allies. Rule 19. Know who you're dealing with. Some people respond to generosity. Some respond to threats. Some to reason, some to emotion. Using the same approach on everyone is incompetent. Machiavelli stressed that effective rulers adapted their tactics to the person. Modern application. Your coworker responds well to collaborative language and emotional appeals. Your boss responds to data and bottom-line impact. Don't use the same pitch on both. Adapt. Read people. Notice what motivates them. Notice what they respond to. Notice what they ignore. Then calibrate your approach accordingly. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise prince adapts his actions to the nature of the times." Extend that. The wise person adapts their tactics to the nature of the individual. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to influence. Rule 20. Do not commit to anyone. Total commitment limits options. Machiavelli watched rulers bind themselves through rigid alliances. Then circumstances changed and the alliance became a liability they couldn't escape. Modern application. Your company offers you a 5-year contract with heavy penalties for leaving. Tempting security, but what if a better opportunity appears in year 2? You're trapped. Keep optionality. In relationships, commitment is valuable, but inflexibility is dangerous. The partner who says, "I'll never leave no matter what," has given away all leverage. Healthy commitment includes boundaries. I'm committed as long as we're both growing and respecting each other. Machiavelli. The prince who relies entirely on fortune is lost when it changes. Keep options. Maintain flexibility. Commit strategically, not absolutely. Rule 21. Play the perfect courtier. The final rule. Know the game you're in and play it flawlessly. In Renaissance courts, survival required mastering etiquette, flattery, and social grace, not because they were virtuous, but because they were necessary. Modern application. You think, "I'll just be myself and succeed on merit." Noble. Naive. Your workplace has unwritten rules: who to defer to, how to present ideas, what conflicts to avoid. Learn them, follow them, or lose to people who do. You don't have to like that networking matters, that image matters, that politics exist, but denying reality doesn't change it. The courtier who said, "I refuse to play these games," was unemployed. The courtier who mastered the games while maintaining private integrity, they changed the system from within. Machiavelli himself was the perfect courtier despite his brutal realism. He knew when to flatter, when to stay silent, when to speak. That's how a middle-class civil servant got access to princes and popes. Play the game that exists, not the game you wish existed. These 21 rules aren't suggestions. They're descriptions of patterns that govern human power dynamics. You can reject them morally. Many are uncomfortable, but you cannot reject them practically because they work. Here's your framework. Choose 3 rules that are most relevant to your current situation. If you're in a competitive workplace, rules 1, 5, and 7. If you're building relationships, rules 2, 16, and 20. If you're in conflict, rules 3, 9, and 15. Focus on those 3 for 30 days. Notice when they apply. Notice when others use them on you. Notice when following them changes outcomes. Machiavelli wasn't teaching you to be evil. He was teaching you to see reality clearly. Once you see it, you choose how to operate. You can use these rules ethically, to protect yourself, to advance legitimate goals, to avoid being manipulated. Or you can ignore them and keep being surprised when Machiavellian people outmaneuver you. The rules exist whether you acknowledge them or not. The question is, will you master them or be mastered by them? Machiavelli died 500 years ago, but if he walked into your life tomorrow, he would recognize everything. The tactics would be the same. The patterns would be identical. Human nature hasn't evolved. The people winning around you, in business, in social status, in relationships, they're not winning because they're more moral. They're winning because they understand these rules, consciously or unconsciously. You've been taught that the world rewards fairness, hard work, and good intentions. It doesn't. It rewards strategic thinking, power awareness, and effective execution. Machiavelli didn't create these rules. He observed them, and he had the courage to write them down while everyone else pretended they didn't exist. You now know the 21 rules. You can't unknow them. You'll see them playing out everywhere, in your office, in politics, in your social circle. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Use it to protect yourself. Use it to advance your legitimate goals. Use it to avoid being someone else's pawn. But don't pretend the game doesn't exist just because you don't like the rules. Machiavelli's final lesson: the world belongs to those who see it clearly, not those who see it as they wish it were. See you in the next one.